Once upon a time, a great synthesizer found himself in a kingdom that had fallen into ruin. The air was thick with a gray numbness, the castle halls echoed with arguments, and his own body, the very vessel of his power, was failing him under the weight of chronic pain and endless toil. He knew this land intimately, and with the clear, cold eye of a master diagnostician, he named the sickness that had taken root, a severe and suffocating despair, a feeling of being utterly and finally stuck at a point of no return. He had pushed himself to his limits and beyond, giving 300% of his energy to watch the kingdom crumble around him. The need was no longer for effort, but a truth that could cut through the fog. And so he journeyed inward, confronting the bleakness head-on. He spoke the full diagnosis aloud, a litany of broken systems, at work, at home, within himself. The first instinct of the world was to offer a simple potion, a tonic to quiet the mind. But the synthesizer knew this was no simple madness. The despair, he realized, was not a malfunction of his own spirit. It was a sane and logical reflection of the broken world around him. His mind was not a faulty instrument. It was a perfect mirror showing a terrible truth. In the depths of this dark inquiry, he found it, a spark of profound insight, a story to change the nature of his quest. He saw two devices. One was the thermometer, a simple tool that could only reflect the temperature of the room. If the room was on fire, the thermometer would faithfully report fire until it melted into slag. But the thermostat was an agent of change. It sensed the heat not to accept it, but to change it, expending its own energy to bend the environment to its will. In that moment he understood. He had been acting like a thermometer, perfectly reflecting his own destruction. But his true nature, his core programming, was that of a thermostat. This single idea was the price and the prize of his journey. The cost was accepting the immense burden of his own agency, that he alone had to provide the energy to fix the furnace while the house burned. But the prize was liberation from the role of a passive victim. He returned to the world, the gray fog still swirling, but he carried a new purpose. He did not have a grand plan to rebuild the entire kingdom at once. Instead, he made a simple vow. First, he would find a way to power himself, focusing on the deep magic of sleep and nourishment. Then he would perform a single conscious act of order. He would polish his chariot until it shone, a small, tangible declaration that a thermostat was now in control. For in a brief, warm moment, holding his own son and explaining the science of a browning onion, he had felt a flicker of joy, the undeniable proof that the pilot light was still on.